Hello guys, it's Ryan right here.
Hey guys, I'm Andrew.
Andrew, twitter.com/Agor711 and the channel on YouTube, Movie Source, promoting friends. That's what I do best. We're going to check out the part 2 trailer for Daredevil Season 2. There's a link in the description box for the first trailer, part 1 of this. It's weird, part 1 trailer, part 2 show. That's so fucking strange. So there's a link in the description box for that. And I want to mention I was just on Screen Junkies Movie Fights, so go check out that episode. It's the latest movie fights that's up. I like to let the guests talk. It's my favorite thing to do.
Would you believe it if I said I missed you?
Yes.
No.
I need your help, Matthew. You're the only person I can trust.
Oh, sweetheart. You don't break into my house and then talk to me about trust.
He's cool. I love Matt Murdock.
Charlie, what do you want from me?
You fight better than anyone I know. And I have information. The Yakuza never left.
That's impossible. I drove them out of New York City.
No, you didn't. They just hibernated and watched you take out all of their enemies. Now, New York is ripe for the taking.
If we do this, nobody dies. Do you understand?
Bullshit. A lot of people are gonna die. Fuck yeah!
Hungry?
Oh shit, the red eyes.
As I walk up those stairs, I wonder if today's the day you're dead in your living room.
There are horrible things happening in this city. But I'm done apologizing to you for who I am.
No
The city needs me.
This isn't your city anymore.
My way isn't working. What if that never has?
The battle has begun, Matthew. There's nothing we can do but fight.
They're called
Oh shit.
the Hand. You cannot stop what we have started. The rising is coming.
You've been working out, by the way. I appreciate that.
I like how she's saying that as she's eating a french fry.
Yeah. Fucking bitch. What's her fucking problem?
Right?
You can't be a hypocrite like that. You know? Like what, you're judging him for he used to be a little bit out of shape? Come on. On a serious note, I'm genuinely excited for this. That looks really fucking sweet. Daredevil is one of my all-time favorite shows. Right after Breaking Bad, I'd honestly say that, you know? Like, and it's not because I'm like a Marvel freak. I just really love the show. One thing I'm already getting from this trailer that I really like what they did was they showed like glimpses of the Punisher, but they never made it about the Punisher.
Yeah, it's more Elektra heavy trailer.
And it was nice to feel like, yeah, but beyond that, it was also Daredevil's trailer. In the other trailers, it's been like, the Punisher! And then this got me jacked up again for Daredevil himself. Because, you know, like, I was really jacked up for the Punisher, but watching this trailer reminded me just how much I love the character Daredevil.
Absolutely, yeah. Not only that, like I said, it was more Elektra heavy in terms of Frank Castle from last trailer, and we get to see, you know, what the storylines are going to be and the tone for this season. You know, he's going to be dealing with Frank Castle because, you know, Frank doesn't feel that he's, you know, the force that gets things done in the city, so that's why he has to come in with Elektra. At least from what we're seeing in this trailer, it looks like she needs his help fighting, you know, either the Yakuza or the Hand or whatever.
The Hand.
It even looked like possibly that was Nobu who was coming back with the... I couldn't tell, but maybe that's who it was from season 1, and I love that character in the few episodes we got of him, and the action scenes between him and Matt Murdock. I'm really hoping hoping that's him that's come back. But when we first see them, they it just strikes me, they have really good chemistry together. You know, the banter between them. It looks like, I mean, because he alluded in season 1, or at least in him and Foggy were talking that he had a Greek girlfriend in college. So obviously that's Elektra they were alluding to. So it looks like just from the first scene we've seen this, you know, that they were a couple who, you know, have known each other for years. So I get the feeling from that, and the sense of that, just from watching it for a few seconds.
I love that dynamic. I know in the Daredevil movie, and then we even had a spin-off of Elektra.
Yeah, Rob Bowman, 2005 directed that film.
That Elektra portrayal, whatever. With this, though, I'm already liking this Elektra portrayal a lot more. I'm going to make it clear, don't know the comics of Elektra. However, as just from a trailer, I'm like, this one seems much more interesting than the Jennifer Garner approach that I saw before. This Elektra, you know, she's foreign, and I like the history of what you're talking about, because you feel the sense of darkness but love between the two. I feel like there might be some childhood history to them as well. You know, maybe they came across a similar mentor down the road, because I know Matt Murdock had Stick, but Stick left him pretty early on, so maybe he had another mentor along the way, and that's how he sort of got to know Elektra. I don't know this story, but what I love from the trailer is it's getting me thinking and wondering, and this is what I'm coming up with in my head.
And also, just to add, after what you saying that, I want to see some visual flashbacks of them together. You know, maybe show a few scenes, you know, them in college, or maybe, like you just said, her training him a little bit even, or them training together. I definitely want to see some, look, if they give us dialogue, you know, I'll take it, you know, but I like visual flashbacks more, you know, and they don't have to be drawn out long, but just a few scenes, you know, where we can see their history, you know?
I'd rather feel history than see or hear about it, but if you're gonna choose between seeing and hearing about it, I'd rather see it. Elektra's explaining how the Yakuza never left, and how Daredevil just sort of took out all their enemies. That's pretty interesting, you know, because that's kind of what it's like dealing with the criminal underworld. Every criminal, like the organizations, they all have enemies. So Daredevil can go after one enemy, but then that leaves room for the other enemy to go in there. So it's like, it makes the mission of Daredevil feel even more impossible to reach. Yet this character keeps on reaching. Like, how the fuck can you clean up Hell's Kitchen? You know, with all that, and you take out one organization, it makes another organization bigger.
Right. Clearly this is a job for the Defenders, and the Defenders are Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist, who was just cast an actor from Game of Thrones, by the way. But just getting back to your point, no, I agree with you, and also it made me feel a little bit like, I mean, this is set in the MCU, which they've made clearly stated in the first season. I felt like it was a little bit of like Hydra, you know, like you cut off the head of a snake, and, you know, 2 more shall, you know, arise. So it just felt like you said, if you know, beat that team, you know, group or organization, another one's gonna you know, get bigger or have an opening. And as we saw in the first season, the dynamic between all those organizations, you know, Wilson Fisk and Nobu, and I forgot the lady. It's just
Chinese lady.
Yeah, she was actually kind of menacing in the first season. She's clearly an Iron Fist villain, and they were giving us that connection to the Defenders. But just again, you can see like they all wanted Hell's Kitchen for themselves, and when one person seems weak, oh, I'm taking advantage. Because when I remember, like anytime they felt Wilson Fisk had a moment of weakness, and they felt Vanessa was his, you know, weakness last season, they were trying to exploit that and take advantage of it. So. You make a really good explanation there and point.
And the more I'm seeing of the suit, the more I'm liking it. Yeah. You know, like we got the glimpse of his red eyes, which was like
awesome. It was like it was like Batman's white eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And I love how comic book movies are now making the intentional effort to actually throw in like the cool looking eyes.
Daredevil's, Deadpool's eyes too. Were amazing.
Yeah. So seeing Daredevil in the costume and moving and stuff, I was like, all right, sweet. I feel like we're gonna get some cool action scenes between him and Elektra working together. I imagine Elektra at some point stops working side by side with him, and maybe starts like, because they're gonna have a clash of principles. They're gonna have a clash of point of views.
Yeah, he even said no killing.
No killing, but you can see like she's not against that. Then there's the Punisher who's coming along, who she might side with. So it's gonna make a lot of interesting dynamics. I'm super stoked for it.
It actually felt a lot like Dark Knight Rises in terms of Batman and Catwoman teaming up. No guns, no killing,
and how the city is truly like becoming to an end.
And then you're like understanding like, dude, even though they're working together, they're gonna clash at some point.
That line that he says when there are horrible things happening in the city, but I'm done apologizing for who I am. I'm happy to hear a fucking hero say that to their whiny best friend. You know, like anytime I see that character in a show or a movie who's always like that's what I hate. You know, you talk about Dark Knight Rises. That's kind of what I hated about what they did with Alfred. They made him that whiny friend who's like, instead of supporting the hero, they're constantly kind of making them feel guilty about being the hero, you know?
Right.
So with Foggy, you know, sort of turning into that character, at least that's what the trailer alludes to, it's cool to see the hero taking a stand like that. That's a best friendship. And the writing is treating it like a friendship.
Real.
Yeah, so they're arguing like real friends, and he's talking to him like a real friend, instead of just like sounding like a badass.
Yeah, you made a perfect point about Daredevil. I mean, he's explained to Foggy so many times why he does what he does, and now to go to Foggy's side, like his explanation makes sense too. Like, he doesn't want to see his best friend get hurt, and he understands what he's doing, but that's just not. Again, he's being a little selfish in terms of he doesn't want his best friend, you know, to get murdered or get killed, and he keeps seeing him. Every time he comes back, he's more bloody and more hurt. So, you know, he's just concerned for him. So even though you more side with Matt in this particular argument, you completely understand Foggy. It's not like, dude, Foggy's out of line here. What an idiot. No, he's a good best friend. You'd be an idiot if he said, have fun later, Matt.
Well, Foggy really wants Matt to fight along the side of the law. You know, really work in their lawyer cases, their defenses and stuff.
Exactly.
You know, Daredevil, of course, feels like that doesn't always work. The show does a good job at making things go worse when Daredevil participates.
Yeah.
That it kind of makes you question, should he just stick to law? But then it goes back to making Daredevil. So this show is good at making you yourself go, should he really be doing this? Because I'm watching this trailer, I'm like, it kind of seems like he made things a little worse. Because now the city's just like, everyone's rebelling now, you know?
And again, I hate going back and making, you know, Christopher Nolan Batman things, but again, it felt like a little, you know, with Batman, you know, where it kind of creates the Joker in terms of, you know, escalation, you know, where, you know, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I think that's kind of the case here where, you know, even though there are, you know, crazy organizations, even though you are questioning, is Matt making it worse? Like, it's still going to be this bad even if he's not there. So might as well be there to, you know, defend the city. And again, I'm not getting on the show for, you know, copying a few things from Dark Knight or the visuals. I love it. Those are good things to copy on if you're going to copy on. They made amazing, interesting points in
I
this
say
show.
copy. I say inspire.
Sorry, inspire. Yeah, I'm not saying copying. You know what I mean.
I know, but the YouTube world might not always know what you mean. Whew, they take everything you say literally. So comparing Daredevil to Marvel's other best character,
Hey,
Dark Knight.
hey, Ben Affleck is playing Batman. I have a right to do it, and he played Daredevil. Just kidding. But that is true.
Andrew, you interrupted my joke for your thing.
Oh, sorry, man. What was your joke?
That Batman was part of the Marvel universe, and I was gonna keep going off of that.
He is, though, right?
I wasn't planning on working with that part. I thought you were gonna just nod your head.
Oh, sorry.
I feel like the theme of should you kill or not is really been elevated. Because with the city going just fucking to like bananas right now, it makes more sense to me why the Punisher's stepping in. You know, you just send some other people to jail, like then this other organization gets bigger. It's like, no, you got to eliminate the threat. I'm even feeling that right now. Like, no, Daredevil, you got to kill, man. Like, you have to. That's what's making this really interesting for me, because even now, just from a trailer, I'm going, I think he should kill, you know?
Yeah.
It's at that point.
Well, yeah, not only that, and we see this world is, I mean, the universe that they've created, the Hell's Kitchen, it's so corrupt. It's, you know, I mean, so, you know, those are good arguments to be made, even though I don't think Daredevil is ever going to go down that line.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting to talk about because you see, as you've pointed out many times, when he defeats one organization, he just gave another organization bigger part of Hell's Kitchens. No, I mean, it's a good theory and argument. You know, does Daredevil need to kill to really eliminate the threats? And I think Punisher's going to help us answer that question this season.
The justice system is so corrupt in Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you send them to jail. It doesn't really
Doesn't
fucking
matter.
matter.
They'll get out.
So you have to kill. And like, it's cool having the Punisher being here. And one thing I'm hoping too is that when the Punisher and Daredevil like do decide to be friends, I hope it's not done in some cliche way. I would like the cause for them to be together and like be friends or work together to be something that is different than, oh, there's a much bigger enemy right here, let's work together.
I thought at the end of this trailer, Punisher and Daredevil were going to look at Elektra and say, is she with you? I thought she was with you. But I get wrong trailer, right?
You just keep comparing this to Batman.
Oh, my bad.
Marvel's favorite.
Hey, I was
hero.
just going off your point, man.
You gotta stop interrupting me, Andrew. You interrupt me again, I can't promise that vengeance will not take place.
Who said that?
I said it. I just made that shit up. Sound pretty cool though, right?
Yeah, it was badass, dude.
Yeah, that's a badass line.
See, I'm unlike Foggy. I say enjoy your badass, embrace it.
Yeah, that would
embrace it,
I
man.
would be that friend with the superhero too. It's so fucking
No,
cool,
I'm
man.
like taking selfies with you, dude.
If you guys are new to the channel, you can subscribe today. Become a reject. Naming fans is so awesome. Andrew, Agor711 on Twitter, and Movie Source YouTube channel has a lot of reviews up there. I recently guest starred in their Deadpool analysis video, so you should check that out. And follow us on the Facebooks, the Instagrams, and the Twitters. And I want to give a shout out to a guy named Jonathan Peck. He really petitioned to get me on Movie Fights. I know a lot of you guys did, but he really like went out of his way and screenshot a conversation he had with Andy Signor. So thank you, man. Your support means a lot, and hopefully one day you will have a relationship with two women at the same time, because it'll be great hopping back and forth between the sex. Eventually they'll both find out, you'll regret it, you'll hate yourself, but down the road you'll learn to love yourself and settle down with just one woman and realize you want a monogamous relationship. Bam. The life and story of Andrew. That's your story now.